Okay, we're talking to Juanita Vorster.
Yes.
Juanita, how are you? Hoe gaan dit?
Dit gaan goed, baie dankie. Good to
mooi.
meet you. Hello, thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
You're with a company called At That Point,
Yes.
which you describe as an outsourced communications department.
Yes.
And in fact, you're quite involved in this Leaderex event that's happening here today. So tell us a little bit about your company and your background.
So my involvement at Leaderex this year is on invitation from the Institute of Directors, which has been one of our clients for the past 6 years already. And because we stepped away from a traditional PR agency role and went to the outsourced communication department role, they said, well, we've got a person here that knows our story, that knows our content, and that can be a speaker on our platform at Leaderex. So I am here in a dual role, one as speaker on leadership and business strategy, etc., but also serving my client, the Institute of Directors, and getting their message out in a way that seems a little bit non-traditional. And where the outsourced communication department rather than marketing agency thing comes from is we found that, especially in our work with associations and professional bodies, there's a requirement for a provider to not wait anymore to receive a brief, but for a provider to be so involved, so part of their clients, that they can think on behalf of and strategize and plan on behalf of and act as a department in its own. So not just reactively produce content or produce activities, but think on behalf of, know the story so well that you kind of become part of the furniture. And that's the type of relationship we like to have with our clients, so that we can say, when there is an opportunity, say for instance, like leadership, we see that there's a content extension opportunity here, allow us to activate it for you.
Okay, just rattle through some of your clients quickly.
We have the Association of South African Quantity Surveyors, we've got South African Institute of Professional Accountants, the Compliance Institute, the Institute of Directors, the Institute of Risk Management South Africa, South African Payroll Association, South African Reward Association. Did I say South African Professional Accountants? South African
You did.
Institute of Professional Accountants. There
Professional
you go.
accountants.
The
That's SIPO, which is a
That's SIPO.
competitor body to
Indeed,
SIBO,
it
which is the
and
South African
SIPO.
Institute of Business
Yeah.
Accountants, which is the better body, in case anybody's confused.
I shall reserve comments
Yeah.
on this one.
Yeah, I mean, SIPO, yeah, okay. All right, so in your presentation, you were talking about all of these bodies. I mean, they sound like they're fairly weighty things, you know, Risk Association and the Professional Accountants
They
and
do
the
good
Institute of
stuff.
Directors. There's a lot of content being produced in these companies or these organizations, which has not ever seen the light of day.
Yeah.
So explain how companies can leverage that and get more mileage from it.
To explain that properly, I would like to take a few steps back and just look at the basics of marketing. There's two sides to marketing in the way we see it. One is the creation portion and one is the distribution portion. And a lot of companies focus a lot on the distribution. Are we doing social media? Are we doing newsletters? Are we doing podcasts? Are we doing blogs? Are we doing PR? What are the things we do? But the really expensive thing and the difficult thing for marketing or communication is content creation. Now, the way associations and professional bodies are set up, they've got all of these committees and volunteers and all of these research reports they have to do and forums, etc., etc. They produce content easily. It's part of their DNA. It's part of who they are. So they're really strong on the content creation bit, but usually very poor on the distribution bit. Because where associations started and where the world has moved to now, with access to information and social media, the purpose of associations have changed, but they're sitting on an absolute gold mine of content that can be used in what we call content marketing, which is a trend that says, do not sell your products and services and the specifications of those product services. Sell your thoughts, sell your stories, sell your opinions, sell the difference you make. And if I then, through that content, trust you, I will buy your product and service anyway.
Right, and how do you measure this? I mean, one of the things that PR has always had a difficulty with is like, you know, we'll get you in the press, but is that worth anything?
Absolutely. So from a traditional PR background, I am obviously a fan of PR, but PR cannot stand alone and should not ever stand alone. It's all to do with what we call the customer funnel, the sales funnel, the traditional sales funnel of attention, interest, desire, action. If you prop the top of the funnel full of interested parties, it's easier to push those leads, those opportunities through the funnel into sales. And one of the cheapest ways, contrary to popularity, one of the cheapest ways to get that top of the funnel on the awareness layer, not the sales layer, but the awareness layer full, is PR. For the simple reason, suddenly your message is not just being distributed to the database you have access to, but to a third-party database, to the database media, journalists have access to.
Right.
So if you're on TV for 3 minutes and 1.2 million people see it, you will never in your life have access to that email database. Is every single one of those 1.2 million people your target audience? No. But do they possibly know someone who they will tell the story? If the story is good enough, if the content's solid and helpful enough, could they potentially tell? Yes. And then in comes opportunity lead into the awareness layer, and then marketing and sales drive.
Yeah, there's no question that repetition of a name is brand building is what they call it. There is of course a danger that PR can backfire.
Oh yeah.
If you're trying to sell something too overtly to a public, you are risking great danger, right?
Do not sell in PR ever.
Never sell in PR.
Tell,
yeah, okay.
show, prove, help. Do not sell to a journalist. Help them to meet their deadlines and earn. PR is all about earning reputation, earning value, earning trust.
Yeah.
It's not about selling and the quick wins. It's a long game. But it's not easy to measure though. But if you understand that we don't want to measure sales here at the bottom of the funnel through our PR activities, we want to measure how many people are aware of us, and over a longer period of time, usually about 3 years, how much impact do we see that when our sales team calls someone, they say, oh yes, I've read about you. Oh yeah, you were on the radio. That is where the pitch drops.
Do you still use that measure in PR where you take, we've got so many column inches in the newspaper and you multiply that, how much would I pay for that advertising?
Advertising value equivalency.
Is that not used anymore?
The industry uses it religiously.
Okay.
I have said goodbye to it.
Yeah. It is a bit of a...
6 years ago. So here's the thing. My clients actually started calling it monopoly money, and I agreed with them. And that's where we made the link of, well, how do we then measure the worth of the money spent to us? Which is why I've had to think, if we can't measure in rand value, which is monopoly money, you don't measure savings, you measure spend. How much easier did it get for my sales?
So how do you measure return on investment in what you do?
I use an integrated reporting measure, but then you need access to data of actual sales. So when you have your planning, you say, these are my PR activities over these months, here's a spike, there's a dip, etc., together with my marketing activities, and these are my sales. So according to a month, that same period of time, you go, did a spike in PR activity or in marketing activity relate to a spike in sales over 6 months?
All right, but then are you looking for a correlation, a statistical correlation there?
A statistical correlation
doesn't necessarily prove causality, though, does it?
It doesn't prove it, but over time. So PR measurement's all about trends.
Yeah.
It doesn't prove it right now on the spot, but over a period of time, you could and you should measure whether it's still worthwhile.
Right. Yeah.
The other thing then comes to, are you doing PR the right way? Because PR can take many, many, many forms. But if, for instance, you allocate your PR budget to doing a certain activity that you cannot measure, but you want measurement, you should change the PR activity. If one PR activity is working, go ask your provider where to shift to where it does work. And it's all about integrated marketing knowledge. That's why we moved away from being a PR agency. We hated sitting in the PR corner and only being told what is newsworthy, what is media relevant. If I have an overview, so our tagline is actually vision, strategy, communication. If me and my team know where this organization wants to go, how they plan to get there, we can take care of the communication bit. Say, through communication activities, this is how we serve the vision, this is how we serve the strategy. And for that to happen, you need to get away from doing only PR and more into the integrated marketing function.
Great. Juanita Vorster. We're going to leave it there. Thanks very much.
Thank you so very much. Okay.